You spend, the less you'll have, for later on. So that's when I began to understand the empowerment of earning for yourself, because you'll be able to do more for yourself. And I felt stronger and more independent. And mind me, this was 7 years old. I did this from the time I was 7 until the time I was 13. I moved to Philadelphia. I worked with 3 of my uncles. They had migrated from the farms of Lumberton, North Carolina. This is where the family origin was. Lumberton, North Carolina. They had migrated from there, from people during the industrialization era, when people were migrating from the rural farms of the South to the city for industry. They went to Philadelphia and set up shop there in their own businesses. It was 3 of them. One of them was a cement mason contractor, and the other 2 were, they ran an auto repair facility right there in North Philly. So I went from one to the other 2, learning both trades. The one that was a cement contractor, I learned how to pour concrete and finish it, and learned how to do siding on those road buildings up there in Philadelphia. I think they call it stucco now, but during those days it was actually cement siding. And I left Philadelphia. I want to journey to I want to take you to my first experience in Islam. The ones that owned the auto repair shop, I was working with them, and they fixed all type of stuff: cars, trucks, industrial equipment, construction equipment, all type of stuff, motorcycles, boat motors, all this, any type of machinery. So one day I was out and I was eating a sandwich. And the Muslim brothers would come by. They were selling the Muhammad Speaks and the whiting H&G fish and incense and bean pies. And for those of you that don't know what whiting H&G is, I'm sure everybody knows about whiting fish. But H&G was the headless and gutted fish. That's what H&G stood for. That was a specialty of the Muslims. Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he taught us to eat the whiting fish, because the whiting, he swims at the higher tier of the ocean, and of the Pacific Ocean. And he said that the term Pacific in Spanish means peace, and Islam is a religion that advocates peace. So that was symbolically he was telling us that this food is of a higher tier, or of a higher nutrient base for us, because of the way the fish, the habitat of the fish. But anyway, I was out eating a sandwich, and the Muslim brothers came out and they said, "Peace be unto you, brother." He said, "Man, you need to put that pork chop sandwich down and come and wait for the messenger." So I said, "Who was the messenger?" I didn't know anything about Islam. He said, "Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he's a messenger of the Nation of Islam." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, can the messenger pay me almost $50 a week?" And he said, "Well, no, but the messenger won't pay you anything. Anything you earn on your own." I said, "I'm making almost $50 a week here." I said, "If the messenger can't top that, I need to stay where I'm at." So then they went on with they started talking about the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, and the God of the universe. And the black woman was his queen, and they started talking about that the white man was the devil, and all this stuff, right? So I couldn't, it was a part of what they were giving me I could digest, but there was another part that I couldn't digest. The part that I couldn't digest was, so you telling me, hold on, let me get this straight. You telling me that this black man, you saying this black man is a god. You telling me that this black man, this case in my house when I leave to go to work, to try to figure out what he can get in and around it. You telling me he's a god? And this white man that will give me a job and help enable me to take care of myself and my family, you telling me he's a devil? I couldn't quite understand that. So I started buying all these books that the Nation of Islam were publishing. Message to the Black Man in America, The Fall of America, How to Eat to Live, Book 1 and 2, all by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The 7 Speeches of Minister Farrakhan. I started buying all James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time, If Beale Street Could Talk, all these books. I'm trying to get more ingrained and more in tune to Islam and black culture, black history, and this type thing. with perchance that I would have a better understanding of what this brother was telling me, because the way it was coming over, I couldn't digest. Anyway, it took me 5 years, from 1968 to 1973, when I enlisted in the military. I was stationed in Orange County, California. And all of us were military people. It was a Muslim brother that started a satellite temple at this base in Orange County, California. Brother Tyrone X, he was the minister, and he taught me, he said, Brother Sawyer, he said, good and evil exist in all men. The white man ain't all bad, and the black man ain't all good, the way these brothers put it to you. So that's when I accepted Islam, because that was more reasonable and more suitable to my spirit and my soul than this black man being God, and I'm looking at this black man trying to case my house to steal what I got. And the white man is the devil, and the white man's giving me a job and enabled me to take care of myself and my family. So anyway, at this base at California, Army Elijah Muhammad was still living then. I used all of what my uncles taught me in mechanic work. That was my first encounter with any type of business. But it wasn't a chartered business. It wasn't registered or nothing, because I was in the military. It was more like a hustle. More like a hustle. I advertised in the base paper for mechanic services, and on a Saturday morning, the cars were lined up. I mean, you name it: brake jobs, tune-ups, oil changes. And back then, everything was like $15, $20. You know, I maybe had 10 or 12 cars lined up. And at the end of the day, you could make anywhere from $100 to $150. Man, I mean, this is in 1973. You could take care of, you could outfit a family of 4, husband, wife, and 2 young children, with food for a month, over $150 back then. So I did that the whole tenure that I was in the military, 1973 to 1976. And then when I got out of the military, by this time, the Honorable Ward Muhammad was in office, and I moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, and that's when I started getting my real taste of a chartered business, a registered business. Myself and another brother from Chicago, Elijah Muhammad. This brother was so inspired by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that he named himself after him. He changed his name to Elijah Muhammad. Myself and him and another brother, this was one business, myself and another brother, Brother Abdullah Hakim El-Amin. Myself and Elijah, we started a fish restaurant. Sold fresh fish, fish meals, a bakery, and a grocery store all under one roof. Elijah and his wife, they managed I managed the grocery portion. Everything else they managed. I stocked it, maintained it, all the proceeds went to me, and the whole bit. And during this time, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was pushing that do for self. He said, we over 20 million people strong, and we don't even own a toothpick factory. So he was trying to encourage the brothers to do something. There's opportunities out here. We all use toothpicks. Open up a toothpick factory. You see? So I was inspired by this, and when Imam Ward Muhammad came into office, we were starting to learn more Orthodox Islam. At first, we was learning about the black man being God and the white man being the devil. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Ward Muhammad started teaching us about the lifestyle of the Prophet Muhammad and what he did, how he was a leader, how he made his living. So I learned that the Prophet Muhammad was a merchant. So I said, well, shoot, I want to get into merchandising. I want to be like the Prophet Muhammad. If I'm going to be a business person, I want to be like the Prophet Muhammad. So during those days, brothers and sisters, see, y'all got it made today, young people. Y'all got the internet. Y'all can go on there and punch in what you're looking for, and and you can sign up to sell on eBay and Amazon and all this other stuff. Back then, we didn't have those opportunities. We had there was a register. It was a register of all the North American businesses and manufacturers called Thomas Register. I don't know if it's still out today or not.
They digitized it.
It's digitized now?
Okay. Sweet catalog.
Okay, all right.
It digitized.
Thank you. Thomas Register. You can go on there and you can find every registered business and manufacturing company in the North American continent. So I wanted to sell socks. That was the thing I wanted to do. So, and the register is in volumes, like from A to Z. So I got volume H, and I looked on the hosiery, and it gives you a list of all these manufacturers that make socks. So you call them up, and you tell them who you are and what you want to do, and some of them will oblige you because, and some of them wouldn't. Most of them wouldn't. Most of them would sell to only like high-end department stores. During that time it was Montgomery Ward, Sears and Roebuck, J.C. Penney's, and I think Macy's and Bloomingdale's and some others, you know, the chains. Some of them would oblige you as an entrepreneur, but you had to have a minimum order. And they didn't classify the socks by pairs. They classified them in lots of, in counts. It is like 1,000 count, 2,000 count, which 1,000 count would be 500 pair, 2,000 of course would be 1,000 pair. So you had to buy them like that. And we got the oils and the incense and all this other stuff the same way. We go in that register, find out the fragrance manufacturers and get all this information. And we had to build everything from scratch, and that's what we did. That's what we did. We got the socks. We got the bulk oils and incense, the concentrated oils, neutralizers, the bags. We had to make up our own labels and stuff. And we put that stuff on the market. Again, now, all Reliable Muhammad is pushing, do for self, do for self, do for self. I worked the restaurant and the grocery store in the day, got a cab and drove that in the evening, bought a heavy-duty truck and contracted with the grocery stores. Back in those days, this was in the late well, this is coming up. This is 1977. They didn't bail up the paper like they do now. They got these baling machines that bail the paper up in squares, and they sell it to the paper companies. Well, back then the paper and the cardboard was just laid out in the back of the grocery stores. So I contracted with, it was three major grocery chains in the Southwest region during that time. Weingarten's Grocery, Kroger Grocery, and Safeway Grocery. I got with those three companies, contracted to keep the back area cleaned up, and in turn, they would give me the paper. I would sell the paper to the paper companies, to the recycling companies, and got paid for keeping the area clean. Again, Reliable Muhammad says, do for self, do for self, do for self. You know, all this is what's fueling it. Let's see, we ran the grocery store and the fish restaurant from 1977 to 1981. And then my partner decided to leave, move to another city. I stayed in Little Rock for another year and finally wound up coming back here. I got back here and I had some illness in the family. My mother, she was diagnosed with cancer. My daughter was diagnosed with cancer. My sister was diagnosed with cancer. But I noticed, I want to share this with y'all, people. I don't want to take up a lot of time. I do want to share this with y'all. I noticed when my mother was going through her cancer treatments, I made two interesting observations. I noticed there were more young people being treated for cancer than traditionally. Back in the old days, it was always an elderly person. It was an isolated case, one way over here, and one back over there, and way over there. But cancer was running rampant, and it was affecting younger people. And I noticed there were more females being treated for cancer than males. Anyway, and I thought to myself, I said, how's all this cancer? How's cancer just running so rampant these days? I mean, it wasn't like that when I was a kid. And Allah revealed to me, He said, the cancer is coming from chemicals in the food we eat and the water we drink. Our food supply is tainted with chemicals. And I made a vow to Allah right then that I was going to do everything within my power to combat cancer. Allah blessed me to go out and I took every penny I had, brothers and sisters, every cent I had, and invested in farm equipment, trucks, trailers, tractors. I wouldn't know what a tractor was if one ran over me, but I invested in this stuff and taught myself how to use it. All the plows and the discs and the tillers and all this stuff that goes behind it. Anything pertaining to organic farming, I invested in it. And I'm still an aspiring organic farmer. I got a long ways to go, but I'm still on track. So, my inspiration in life was my great grandfather and all that land that he accomplished in his time. My mother for encouraging me to, giving me the notion that you're independent. You know, you're doing better than I am monetarily. That was encouraging for me. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who kept pushing, do for self, do for self, do for self. We over 20 million people strong, and we don't even own a toothpick factory. You make a toothpick factory. You use toothpick, make one. So, I say to you all today, keep your eyes on the prize. As Spike Lee said, keep your eyes on the prize. Yes.
I just have a quick question for y'all. Sure. It's just something that I noticed in my readings about y'all time. What motivated y'all to, I guess the answer is probably obvious, but I've always admired y'all generation for, you just listed 12 things you did.
Right.
In your life.
Right.
Okay. So what encouraged y'all generation to do that? That's a little bit different than us now, like even what the kid was saying earlier, you know, find your niche and find your specialty, but y'all was the baker, the candlestick baker, the farmer,
right.
So what encouraged y'all at that time to just pick up all these trades y'all picked up? Cement, you did cement, grocery store. What motivated that?
I think my parents, they always taught me, they said, boy, I ain't gonna give you nothing. Anything you get, you're gonna get out there and get it. You know, that was my father, you know. And if they saw where you were making a tip towards something, they encourage you towards that.
Okay.
But they won't, you won't gonna get that. I ain't gonna give you nothing. You might have to go out there and get it yourself. And the more I tried to do, the more they encouraged me. The more they encouraged me. So that gave me the sense that whatever I tried to do, I had some encouragement behind me. And my mother always taught me this also. She said, anything that you do in life at your younger age, you're going to get a benefit from it in your older age. In other words, it's not unwarranted. It's not in vain. You know, you're going to get some fruit from it down the line. So they encouraged me to do whatever, like the army, what the slave said with the army, be all you can be. Yeah. So,
okay. Plus, like, you know, where I started off, they were saying during the time of the Nation of Islam, just like I said, it was the Nation of Islam, and the brothers sometimes would greet each other sometimes. You know, if you approach a brother, you said, brother, what time is it? And the brother said, nation time. So it was, and in a nation, it's all type of things exist. So it was taught to create all kind of business. So that's where it kind of came from.
I appreciate y'all for that, because a lot of people in our generation want to build, and build has been turned into talking. But to build a nation, you need tools and skills and trades. So I applaud y'all generation for showing us that.
And that's another thing too. My uncle, the one that taught me cement masonry, he used to always tell that, he had that saying, he said, son, he said, you need skills that pay the bills. Skills that pay the bills. Those old people, they pushed us, man. They pushed us. They pushed us. Especially when they saw you on a track, they pushed you. They encouraged you. Yeah. Keep moving. Keep moving. So,
okay, can I add something to that? Now, some of the things that some of the young people may be lacking or looking for, Brother Mahdi mentioned some of the skills that he ran into, shoe shining and other things, and farming equipment. Those are skills that can still be used today, because if you look around, there are no shoe shine shops. No. And they don't have to be like they used to be. Right. It's just there are no shoe shine shops. There are very few tailors in our community. Right. There are very few skills that we used to, like bicycle making, gathering pieces together, put bicycles together. Yes, sir. So just from those three, if we would think about things, we can find opportunities in our community. Yes. I know the media and the culture and everything will take our attention, but if we kind of think about it, we can find a lot. We can find opportunities.
You go in the city right now, in the city of Philadelphia. You got young kids at the stop sign washing cars.
Yeah.
I mean, washing